Wall Street has found an infinite money glitch. The big AI companies are using a complex web of financial trickery, the likes of which I have never seen in my 20 years as an investor. Now, the internet is calling it a circular trade, where money flows from one company to the next, creating a flywheel effect that somehow lifts the stock prices of everyone involved. And it works like this. Nvidia, with its overflowing pile of profits, invests in Intel. Intel uses those investment dollars to buy cloud computing services from CoreWeave. CoreWeave uses those dollars to then buy more chips from Nvidia, creating this circular flow of money. But here's the thing. The value of each of these companies is rising because of these deals, even though they are passing around the same money. An ex-user summed it up perfectly. She said, quote, "The entire economy right now is 7 companies sending $1 trillion back and forth to each other." Now, there is nothing illegal about any of this, but here's where it starts getting crazy. Just the announcement of a new deal, before any money or product changes hands, is causing these stocks to surge. In September, Oracle announced a $300 billion cloud computing deal with OpenAI. The stock went up 36% in a day, a $247 billion increase in market cap. So not only is Wall Street seeing value created instantly, but they appear to think that a whopping 82% of that revenue will be pure profit. Now, by the way, before I get too deep into this topic, I am on a mission to help 1 million people find success in the market. So if you want to join me and my team twice a week, live trading sessions, I'm doing it for $5 for 12 months. Go to tradewithross.com or click that link in the description below. AMD also did a deal with OpenAI, promising to sell them 6 gigawatts of computer chips. The stock gained $115 billion in value in 3 days. But the whole deal is only estimated to be worth $90 billion, and that's revenue, not profit. Now, you might be asking where OpenAI, this young non-profit startup, is getting the $90 billion it has promised to AMD. And you're not even going to believe this. AMD is giving it to them. In what they are calling a, quote, strategic partnership, AMD has granted them stock warrants, essentially call options, for up to 160 million shares of AMD stock. Now, the other companies, as far as I know, expect to actually get paid for the products and services that OpenAI has promised to buy. And folks, there are a lot of them. Just this year, OpenAI has signed a $500 billion deal with Stargate, $100 billion each to Nvidia and AMD. Just inked a $38 billion deal with Amazon this week, $25 billion to Intel. They've made promises to buy from Taiwan Semi and Microsoft and Oracle and Broadcom and a host of others. OpenAI has inked more than $1 trillion in spending deals with just about every major player in the space. But OpenAI does not have $1 trillion. The company's own reporting shows just $13 billion in revenue this year. That's total dollars in the door, not $13 billion in profits. Right now, they are actually losing $8 to $10 billion a year on the bottom line. So how will they pay for all this? Well, let's ask Sam Altman, the company's CEO. Now, for the record, I do not have a TikTok account. I'm a 42-year-old grown man, not a 13-year-old girl. It was the only place I could find this clip, and I wanted you to see it.
How can a company with $13 billion in revenues make $1.4 trillion of spend commitments? You know, and you've heard the criticism,
First
Sam.
of all, we're doing well more revenue than that. Second of all, Brad, if you want to sell your shares, I'll find you a buyer. I just, enough.
Okay, now the guy on the bottom here cackling like an evil supervillain, that is Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella. They own 20% of OpenAI, so he's just sitting there waiting for the IPO so he can make out like a bandit and pocket his $200 billion payday. But let's continue.
You know, people are, I think there's a lot of people who would love to buy OpenAI shares. I don't think you would
Including myself. Including myself.
People who talk with a lot of like breathless concern about our compute stuff or whatever that would be thrilled to buy shares. So I think we could sell, your shares or anybody else's to some of the people who are making the most noise on Twitter, whatever, about this very quickly. We do plan for revenue to grow steeply. Revenue is growing steeply. We are taking a forward bet that it's going to continue to grow, and that not only will ChatGPT keep growing, but we will be able to become one of the important AI clouds, that our consumer device business will be a significant.
Okay, that's enough. Now, first of all, full disclosure, I hate this guy. I don't know what it is about Sam Altman. I just hate him. I hate his face. I hate his voice. I hate the things he talks. He just seems like the bad guy. I don't trust him. But let's break into this. Now, notice how they basically mocked this guy for asking what is a completely reasonable question. He said, how can a company with $13 billion of revenues make $1.4 trillion of spending commitments? And Altman here tries to make him feel dumb by offering to buy his shares. Nadella's down there laughing like Lex Luthor, and neither one of them offers anything that resembles an answer. We are talking about $1.4 trillion. I don't think we understand how much money that is. Look at this image. This is $1 billion. 10 crates of $100 bills. This is $1 trillion. 10,000 pallets of cash, 22 million pounds of $100 bills. And if you see that little red speck down the left corner, that is a 6-foot-tall man. This is more than the annual budget of the United States military, and the CEO has the gall to mock the guy who asks, where's the money coming from? It is insanity. But this is the current state of the AI market. This is why investors are calling it a bubble. Now look, artificial intelligence is going to change the world. The companies that come out on top will eventually be worth trillions. But today's valuations are simply not in line with reality. The market has priced years of growth into today's stock prices. Now, Bloomberg put together this graphic showing the complex web of deals in the AI space, and I want to show it to you here. So you can see a couple of things flowing there. One is sales of hardware and software. One is sales of services like cloud computing. Then there's investments and venture capital. So you look up there at OpenAI, for example. I mean, this money's just straight in and straight out. They've got Ambient Healthcare, Harvey AI, Innisphere. They're making these venture capital investments. They're sending them money for a piece of the company, and those dollars just come right back to them for the services. And you're going to see a similar theme with a lot of these companies where the money is just sort of flowing back and forth between them. And somehow these dollars that are ping-ponging back and forth between these companies, even promising to do so, is sending the valuations of all of these companies up in unison. Now, I am not the only one seeing concern with this situation. Do you remember Michael Burry? He's the hedge fund manager who made $700 million predicting the housing crisis of 2008. They even made a movie about him. It's called The Big Short. If you haven't seen it, it's fantastic. Well, he's back at it. Burry just released his quarterly 13F filing. In fact, he released it 2 weeks before he had to. Take a look. Now look down there near the bottom, and you'll notice that Burry purchased put options to short 1 million shares of Nvidia and 5 million shares of Palantir. These are massive multi-million-dollar bets against these high-flying AI stocks. A whopping 80% of his portfolio is net short what he believes is an AI bubble. Now, his track record's not perfect. Maybe he's right, maybe he's wrong. Only time will tell how this plays out. But I can promise you one thing. Some of these high-flying stocks will get absolutely decimated. Nvidia will survive. So will Palantir. Their stocks may one day be worth much more than they are today. But that does not mean that they will not fall 80, 90+% at some point along the way. Now look, I'm not telling anyone not to play the AI boom. I've made tons of money this year on AI and AI-related stocks. I will continue to trade them as long as they go up. But I also know in the back of my mind that the party will eventually come to an end. And this is not the time to be getting married to stocks, to be making long-term investments in the names that are already up thousands of percent, especially with this complex web of financing and money that is apparently going to show up out of thin air. Now, if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button down there in the corner. That way these videos will show up in your feed. And if you have a question, comment about what you've seen, please put it down below. I see every one of them. I'll respond personally. I'd love to hear your input. Until then, I'll see you on the next video.